The show is Strategic Noncompliance. I'm your host, Mike Bluehair, and if you can hear my voice, you are the resistance. I am prepared to accept the surrender of every law enforcement agency unconditionally in the contiguous United States. Tonight, I am bringing you the master of the silent treatment, a man I have a lot of respect for, Mr. Bunny Boots Inc. Are you there, brother?
Yes, I am.
Nice. We're also being co-hosted by James Peach and fellow Film the Police Portland member. Are you there, James?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, guys. So, first of all, you're nom de gore, Mr. Boots. Can you tell us about your name, Bunny Boots Inc.? Like, what's up with this?
Okay, originally the name came about as a troll against some political parties that were giving me a big problem a couple of years back. And in order to sort of legitimize a donation receipt kind of thing, I decided I'm going to spend $100 and get a business license, calling it Bunny Boots Inc. because one of the political people there got offended about me not turning off my cameras during the political meeting, causing it to shut down. And she decided to make this offhanded comment about me wearing bunny boots, which is a type of Arctic winter gear that is very common in the frozen north.
Oh yeah, that's the way your videos always start. It always gives me a giggle. It just puts a smile on my face. So if you're out there listening to this, dear listeners, and you're wondering what the show's about, this is a show about police accountability. And the reason why it's strategic noncompliance is because I'm interested in reaching out to other folks that are bucking the system in a systematic way. And Boots is definitely doing that. Can you tell the people out there in the interweb and on the terrestrial airwaves a little bit about what is a silent treatment?
Well, essentially, what I go do is I will go out and do a civil rights test in some form of fashion. The most common is to go and film a facility which is either known as a First Amendment audit or a First Amendment test, as I prefer to call it, and see if there's a police or security interaction. Now, if they get suspicious and want to try to ask me questions, they'll come up, interact with me, in which case I will refuse to respond to them verbally, and if possible, try not to give any facial or body expression also on top of that.
Now, the listener out there would think that this would kind of be, a no issue. Like they would just walk out and notice that you're engaged in, a free activity. You're on a public sidewalk and end of story. But it doesn't come out that way. I mean, one of the things I love the most about your videos, I'm a heckler. I like to get right up in their bitter, pinched, mean, evil little faces and mess with their heads immediately. I mean, that's just my style, my particular way of doing my police accountability activism. But what I like most about what you do is you can see on their faces almost immediately, what do you mean you don't want to acknowledge my authority? And you get their faces flushed with just a couple minutes just from not acknowledging their costume or their perceived charisma that's supposed to come along with that silly, the silly trappings of tyranny that they happen to be wearing, hanging on the outside of their bodies. But I mean, how do you do it? How do you not laugh? Because like, I just watched your most recent upload where the security guard walks out to you, and he waddles up and says, "You cannot legally be recording of me." Like what? Like, just the grammatical error is enough for me to want to jump on it. I mean, how do you just keep your cool and not talk when they start getting madder and madder and madder?
Well, it sort of stems from my trolling past kind of stuff where I used to troll around with various on various boards like 4chan's random, where they'll sit there and they'll create these boards where the objective is to try to get the other person on the other side of the screen to laugh, and your objective while going through it is just try to go through it with a straight face. And they do come up with all kinds of funny little memes and stuff like that, and to try to get you to laugh or to react kind of stuff. And that's sort of where I started my practice on that kind of thing. I didn't really think about it too much until several years later when I started looking at this police accountability stuff. and doing the First Amendment test, where it's like, I want to see this done in a different way where someone's exercising their Fifth Amendment right to remain silent for the most part.
Well, hats off to you, man, because I mean, I've seen them threaten you. You've been arrested for this, yes?
Not for for doing silent treatment. I have been arrested, but that was in dealing with confronting police about their improper way of doing security around a presidential visit up here in Anchorage.
Oh, that's right. That was the PNAC story. I remember that now. But you have been threatened, haven't you?
I have been threatened with arrest. I've been threatened with trespass. But, of course, those things couldn't really be applied due to the fact they realized that they didn't have anything on me. Of course, I've also been followed a couple of times, too.
Yeah, I remember that one military base audit you did where the guy followed you and he's like followed you down the road. Then he followed you through a trail in the bushes. It was kind of creepy. I mean, I always imagine, like creepy sci-fi music playing as the guy's following you through the trees and whatnot.
Well,
but
what's interesting with that one is during that time frame, the internet scary meme Slenderman was actually at its peak. And I sort of was tempted to try to find some sort of creepy music to sort of throw in there, but I was like, no, I want to get this out right away kind of thing. But I tried to get the more emphasis on the creepiness by pausing it and zooming in on the individuals as they're following me down the road.
Well, I'd like to ask you about your motivation. I mean, and James, chime in too. I mean, what makes a liberty activist? What makes a police accountability activist? Why do people like yourselves risk arrest, risk being attacked by both the public and law enforcement, risk being put in a cage, risk legal fees, just to make a video that maybe only a few thousand people see online? I mean, what's your core motivations, guys?